right, welcome back to another edition of Sound the Cyrens. I'm your host, Thomas Orness, and today I'm with my dad as always.
Oh, there we go. All right.
After he's done
Coming to you commercial free.
Yep. We have a lot to talk about. Obviously, a lot of positives to start with. The basketball program is...
We're going to start with basketball, or we're going to start with Saturday?
Yeah, we'll just get Saturday out of the way.
All right.
Kansas loss, I think a lot has to do with the Jaylin. One play, I think, was a huge... just going back and preparing for the podcast, looking at how big of that play was, because like during the game, when we're at the game, I feel like it kind of gets lost in the shuffle of things. But when I went back, I was like, man, it's like...
It was a big play.
The guy takes off his helmet after the Kansas touchdown, pick six, so it gives us a more leverage on special teams for Jaylin to get return, and he runs it all the way back to the 3-yard line. We probably would have gotten 7 there, and then...
Yeah, and the thing that pisses me off from that is I've done that position officiating before. And you are looking at their feet to see if they stepped out of bounds. He obviously didn't see their feet and guessed. That guy should not work Division I football again. If you're going to guess like that, I mean, that there's no excuse except that was a guess, unless he's blind. I mean, because you have to see a foot touch the white to blow the whistle, and it's not hard. I mean, if it's questionable, especially with replay, let it go.
And there's like one great angle at it, and like you can tell he just guessed.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well,
guessed.
I think there was a Kansas guy who went by him.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why he probably got blocked just for a second. That's what he guessed. And that's just ridiculous.
Especially when you're the head official and like he calls it dead, it's dead anywhere. It's not reviewable. So
right.
That's
Yeah.
why
No, you can't review it.
Which like going back and rewatching the game, it's like they reviewed everything. They reviewed like obviously they need to review the Rocco throwing it 15 yards down the field, which is a fumble, which is absolutely ridiculous. How is that still a problem? Like,
well, the rule is, I'm 90% sure that if they don't have a grip on the ball,
like fully
in the grasp or in the grip or whatever, I've heard some ref talk about it, then it's considered a fumble, even though it goes forward.
Yeah, because I remember.
So which I think is total horse crap, because let's say he doesn't have it in the grasp, but his arm pushes the ball forward and a guy catches it.
That's a catch.
It's a catch.
Yeah.
But if it hits the ground, it's a fumble?
Yeah.
That's asinine. I mean,
I think, wasn't there something about Tom Brady and the tuck rule back in the day?
yeah, that was
something.
That was him trying to tuck the ball away as he's getting sacked. Yeah, and that's something totally different, I think. But Jalen's was a huge play. I didn't think of it at the time when we were sitting in the stands, but because we didn't see anything.
It was reminiscent of when Purdy was a true sophomore, first game, threw a similar situation, threw a fumble where they didn't review it.
Right.
Guy just picks it up, runs for a touchdown. We're all confused what the hell happened.
Right.
And they reviewed it, and it was, like you said, he didn't have full control of the ball, and they just even went it forward. It's still not a pass. So.
Yeah, so that's what I'd like to ask one of those review officials. He says, if it does get caught by one of our guys, so is that a rush?
Yeah. Because
then it's a lateral, is what you're saying. Because you can fumble a lateral, you can't fumble a pass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was, that wasn't missing Jeremiah Cooper was massive, because they picked on the kid that replaced him so much, like in the secondary. Big time, which is good coaching move, but he just really had a bad game. I mean, we've always said we're going to be brutally honest, and he did not have a good game. And then, because even on the rush, when they scored on the rushing play, he was covering his guy in the back of the end zone with his back to the ball, and it was a running play. So he'll get better, obviously. But
I think also everyone around him is really good too. And I think especially when you come out, and I feel like Campbell, the last couple young players came in, they've come in and thrived right away. And we haven't really had like the learning curve. But when it's their best safety, and it's especially the whole week going up to the Kansas game was like that was our biggest worry, and like that was the game. Like when they played Juicy Wiggle, and it was all pumped up, and then one play. And like I'm looking back now, if Verdon had one more yard, it would have been an interception.
Yeah, but Malik's mistake, in my humble opinion, is that he should have just went for the tackle and not to knock it away.
Yeah.
But I asked somebody that in the know when you go back and rewatch that play, whose mistake was it? And it was Blake's.
Yeah.
Because Freeler came up for run support, and it was just a blown coverage, and it was just horrible timing.
Yeah, but how much of these, like obviously Blake's performance, he had some good plays, but some bad plays that cost us. But
I hate to beat up on a kid.
How much has to do with that one? Like it goes back to the Jaylin Noel play, and then we are stopped. Instead of on the 3, we're on the 35, and then we get 3 and outs, sacked on 3rd down long, and man, it's just hard to come back from.
Well, we tried to bleed the game out, the first half, and kind of went back to the Ohio version of it, kind of, you know what I mean, trying to shorten the game. And I don't think that worked out very well, obviously. But at the end of the day, we still had a chance, and we even on that last play, we couldn't get a stop to even get one shot. They did a fake and dumped it to the tight end over the middle, and
yeah, we got out schemed. I think we got coached a little bit, like that, for example. Like, man, that was a great coaching decision call, to end the game. Like, they just fooled us there, and just it was all or nothing. And if we would have gotten the ball, maybe we would have gotten a shot. But
yeah,
there's another part.
Good coach. I mean,
looking back at the rewatching it, is Campbell could have taken a timeout before Kansas took the field goal and missed it, where we would have had more time to go down the field, and instead of Stanley being 8 seconds, it would have been maybe 35 seconds.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot to nitpick about, but it's just weird going to a Jack Trice game at night and losing, because that hasn't really happened very often lately. I think the last time I went to lost at Jack Trice at night was the Sheem Young Iowa game.
Yeah, that was a great day though. Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful weather. We had a tailgate spot outside the stadium and got to see, Bryce Bradley's the only guy that came by for a koozie.
Yep.
Tried to give one to a guy standing next to us, and 2 guys took it, and the other guy said, "I'm good." And I said, so he didn't, I don't know if he has something extra grind with us, but he didn't want a koozie, which was kind of bizarre. And then we're going to talk about the drunk guy in our section.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we got tickets. We bought the tickets. We were second from the top row in section H. Which, if you want to go to a game, they were $25. It is not a bad seat in that place. I was not complaining about the seats at all. But then this punk KU fan who's probably 18 starts mouthing off to a couple guys that were ISU fans that were probably 35, and the 35-year-old went down and confronted him and almost took a swing at him. And then the Ames police come up and escort him out of there. I mean, he's probably got arrested, and it was just a bad deal all around. But
yeah,
but it was a beautiful day. Great. I mean, the environment couldn't have got any better. It was just such a kick in the teeth that we score. Every place is going bananas. There's nacho cheese flying in our section. I mean, it was crazy. And then one play, an 80-yard touchdown, and the balloon gets deflated.
Yeah, so fast. And
but the BYU. So go ahead.
You got to hand it to Kansas, because their quarterback absolutely torched us, and that was honestly one of the best performances a quarterback's had against our defense. Our defense is one of the best. In the last 5 years is one of the best in the country stats wise. And for him to come in here at Jack Trice late at night, and man, we didn't give our defense any. They're on the field the whole game.
Yeah.
It's just.
And they couldn't get off the field either at times. But Kansas is good. Can we admit it? I mean, Kansas is not Kansas of old. I mean, they just beat Oklahoma the week before, and they came into a hostile environment, and it's probably a little bit of a moral victory that we could almost beat them, because we didn't play that great, and we were only 1 score away from beating them. So I mean, we're so young. We have a hard time remembering we're a work in progress. I mean, I know we've kind of beat up on Blake a little bit, but he's the redshirt freshman. I mean, so we got a lot of young guys out there, and we just got to get bowl eligible. I'm sticking with my guns that we're going to be bowl eligible going into Thanksgiving break. We're going to get one of these next 2. Hopefully, it's this weekend. I'll talk about BYU probably a little bit later, but we need a bowl for these kids just so they can take the next step and
get more weeks of practice and keep them in the program because of the transfer portal and
try to go for a better bowl next year and all that. Because if we don't go to a bowl, I think it makes it a lot harder to keep some of these young guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality of
and
it.
especially not going to the bowl game, not being in the building, having to be in the building rather.
During the portal thing.
And gives more chances for schools to recruit them to go to their school, because it'll be a lot more stuff to do when your schedule is already laid out. But when it's open free, it just gives Texas or Oklahoma or LSU,
anybody,
anyone with big pocketbooks to come in and say, hey.
Well, Jeremiah Cooper is from Andrews High School in El Paso, so he got the Texas schools. All of them are probably trying to figure out a way to reach out to him right now. So
and obviously we always go back to players that we think that could leave. Obviously Ashim Young left, but Cooper made it so we didn't even think about Ashim Young anymore. Yeah. Which
and Bo Friedler did too.
And it's crazy, you just said that Blake's a true freshman, right?
He's a redshirt freshman.
Redshirt freshman, but he's the same class as Cooper. They're both in the same class, so it's just man, it's just impressive that our staff has these younger kids start in starting roles, and we it doesn't even look like it. Yeah, which is strange.
Well, I also was told this week that we've got a younger guy. I think he might be a junior, maybe that because of these young guys playing, I think he's going to take his red shirt and go. I mean, he's already made that decision. So, I mean, I don't think Jameson Patton played this weekend, if I remember right. I didn't remember see 21 out
unless
there.
he got a haircut, because
it's pretty easy to play. So, Blake Thompson's redshirt sophomore. So, so this is his third year there. So, anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't want to beat up on a kid any longer than I have to. I mean, he played. I'm sure he's playing his best.
We didn't have a podcast when Nigel Chobrune was playing, and I'm sure that would have been a long gaff.
But I'm hoping he comes out and just tears it up this weekend. I mean, because he got yanked after the long touchdown, never went back in. So,
and another kid that never didn't really play this Saturday was Sama. I'm not sure if he's hurt or just because of the fumble, but I think it's interesting to me that he didn't play on Saturday.
Yeah, Cartavius, has been playing pretty well, and Eli's been playing well. So it might be, the whole shorten up the rotation thing. You know what I mean?
And Carson Hansen got a nice screen, but I don't know. It's just weird that he didn't get to play. And I think we're just looking for a spark. I think Sama just gives it most of the time. But I don't know.
You're sure he never got a snap?
During the game, I asked, and the guy in front of us said no, and I remember him getting a snap after that. So if he did, it was less than probably 5 or less than 3, I think.
I'll look it up for where you're talking. No, he did not. I mean, our only guys that recorded rushing yards was Eli, Cartavius, and Rocco. So Dimitri Stanley had probably his best game of the season. He had 5 catches for 60 yards. So I mean, I actually brought him up a couple times ago, saying he's been kind of disappeared, but Rocco, I think Rocco was lights out in the second half. I mean, he played fantastic. I mean, it seems like every once in a while though he's got a little bit of a leash on him. I think the time has come just to turn it loose a little bit. I mean, that pick 6 was in a horrible spot, that close to the end zone, but everybody says that it was a miscommunication on the route. Got a new quarterback and a new receiver that's going to happen. Unfortunately, it turned into a pick 6. So.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just nice that Rocco kind of got up. He's still not injured, I don't think, and it's just I feel like he ran the ball way more. This it came more third and long where he had to run and barely not get the first down. Yeah, and that's where I'm kind of wondering if JJ Cole might be a level above her. The only thing above Rocco's is on his legs and getting extra yards, but.
He looked like a baby deer running. Watched him in the first couple games. He's so long and skinny. I mean, jeez.
But I don't know. We got young talent, and obviously to even think we thought of we were going to the Big 12 championship game is just crazy. Thinking about the Ohio game, but I think if we can if we're playing a 9-15 game at BYU, it's if we could somehow sneak away without a win or just positive, but because BYU. If I look correctly, they didn't even score last week, right?
Yeah, they did. I think they got one. They got one touchdown.
Yeah, but they got kind of blown.
They got their doors blown off of them.
But their night game, 9-15, they're doing all black uniforms like
BYU is.
Yeah, so
they're doing all black uniforms.
Yeah, they're honestly sweet. But
BYU has black uniforms. The whitest town in the United States.
They look awesome.
Yeah, so getting back to Rocco, he's spreading it around. We had 21 catches between 8 guys on Saturday. So, he's The most catches was 5 by Dimitri and 5 by Jaylin. So we got a lot of people that are getting the ball in their hands.
And just like during that Jaylin play, we keep going back to that, but that would have lifted so much off of Rocco's shoulders because he just threw up a pick six, and
it would have canceled the pick six.
Yeah,
and it's too bad.
Huge play, because it all comes back to the guy taking his helmet off. I'm just like, what are you doing? Did you not watch the 30 for 30 in Miami? Like, did you?
I thought he was playing for Miami.
Yeah. I was like, you can't do that. And man, because like that's like a costly thing that would have gone in our favor. It's like something that a pick six where it's like shut off the table, and obviously you got a field goal to make it to get on the board, but that would have been 10-14 instead of 3. Yeah, but I don't know.
And having Brock Purdy come out at halftime was pretty sweet too. I mean, that video of him in the combine is so cool. I mean, even the ESPN or the Niners social media site reposted it this week, I think. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, well, going into BYU, I mean, they had their Jake Retzloff was their quarterback, and he got his first start against West Virginia, and it didn't go well as a team. But the thing that the stat that's mind blowing to me is that they got beat 37-7. If you saw that score, how many turnovers do you think they would have, not knowing anything?
37-7. I don't know, a lot.
They had one.
They'd won. Wow.
No fumble. They lost one fumble. The Retzloff had no picks.
Just a lot of 3 and outs.
Well, I mean, I think West Virginia ran for like 250 yards.
Yeah, West Virginia. Like, it's so weird. We have a team in our conference that we're not playing. That's just so weird.
Yeah.
Like,
it's going to get weirder. It's
going to
happen a lot.
Because like we played West Virginia, and like we had like almost a decade and a half worth of rivalry or whatever. Like I was listening to Jamie on Sound Off, and just like, man, like they're trying to search for a rival for us to have in the future. I'm just like, that kind of sounds like Iowa's not going to be scheduled on our schedule.
No, I think you might be misreading that. I mean, I think that's just it's the Big 12 rival. I mean, I don't think we're going to have one. We're not. I mean, the next 4 years, we're not going to have one that we're going to point to, and this is our rivalry game every year, whether it's Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. And we don't get to play them every year, and that's just the way it is. I mean, we signed up for the money thing. Signed up for all these goofy other teams coming in. And
obviously, last podcast, we talked about the Kansas State thing, and kind of gotten over that a little bit, but it's just kind of the same notion of like we're where we're at, and just be thankful. That's where kind of we're getting from, like the
thankful we're not the Pac-10.
We're not Washington State or Oregon State.
Yep, that's
like,
right.
We easily could be that. Like that could have been us, and that would have been like Fred would have. Like there's no way Fred would have stayed during that era.
Yeah,
like we would. Like who would have thought? Like would have been totally different. Like do we not? We would probably don't even bowl in the south end zone. Like
right. No. Yeah.
That that type of level of crazy. Like people forget that was a huge thing. It took forever.
And our stadium looks so. I mean, just go back 10 years and 15 years and look at our stadium compared to this today. I mean, jeez, it's in the bridge and everything. I mean, go down the list and wait till Cytown shows up. I mean, our facilities and our experience is a hell of a lot better than Baylor's. I mean, and I listened to one of the BYU podcasts today, and it says the center for their offensive line is on the podcast. He's one of the co-hosts, and he called their environment the best environment in the country. I said, well, I mean, obviously you should say that, but come on.
I'm sure the Kansas football coaches say that too, but
right, yeah.
It's like, oh,
no, that's not true.
And you see the pictures of the Iowa game last night in basketball?
No, I didn't. Oh, not many people there.
Rough.
Oh,
there's no one there. It's like,
well, I wish I would have known Jamie was on Sound Off because I would have called in.
Yeah, he didn't take any callers.
No, so the one thing that I want to bring back, because if you're watching on YouTube, is because of this that we still have on basketball games. We still have paper programs in basketball games. And with you guys growing up, that was all over your room. And then we've got programs from when we went to football games back then. You know, we've got football programs from when your brother went to state last year and all this. And the digital program is total horse crap. I mean, why would you buy advertising in a digital program? Hell, I didn't even know the damn thing existed until I got an email that I happened to check. I mean, it's ridiculous. Go back to charge $10 for them. I don't care what the hell they cost. Nobody's going to sneeze at $10. You got to pay $6 for a freaking glass of water.
$9 for a pretzel.
Yeah, I mean, so go back to the paper programs. I mean, the only people that are going to get that to change are the advertisers. Yeah. And so if Steve Sukup or any of those guys are out there listening, I mean, paper programs help build the fan base.
Yeah,
I
and,
mean,
like-
I think that is a fact.
And like how many times where if like you're on like you take the program home and you don't go to every game and like you just want to see like who is that? Oh,
Right.
It's so much easier to see who like players. Like yeah, you can get your phone out and Google, but like that you do that for everything.
We don't want to digitize everything for crying out loud. I mean, the digital program helps the young kids develop as fans because kids still hang up crap when they're in their rooms
And like reading.
and
You read
Yeah.
like I didn't want to read normal books.
Yeah.
Like I want to read Iowa State stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one thing that I wish we would definitely bring back is paper programs. I don't give a damn about beer in the stadium. I don't give a damn about any of that paper tickets, any of that crap. I mean, just
I care about like
I know
paper
you
tickets.
do.
Like I'll pay extra.
well, I tell you, I bought a parking pass for tomorrow night's basketball game because it was so cheap on StubHub. I thought all the parking passes were electronic.
They're not.
It's getting overnighted to me.
Oh wow.
So I'm not going to. It's coming. A paper parking pass is coming to me for the Linwood game for crying out loud. Is Linwood? What the hell is Linwood? I know they got beat by Nebraska last night. I mean, but
they can't be any worse than Green Bay. Green
Bay used to be. Dick Bennett, who was at Wisconsin for a long time, Tony Bennett's dad. We used to be the coach at Wisconsin Green Bay. Back when I started coaching basketball, I watched all his tapes on teaching defense, and I drove to Lincoln one night to watch Green Bay play Nebraska because I wanted to see it live. That was before, obviously, every game in the country was on TV all the time. But so they have typically been pretty good, but they were not. And it took me 90 seconds. I looked at your mom and said, "We are a hell of a lot better than last year."
Yeah.
I mean, athletic wise, and the number of people we got coming off the bench, and
Just our guards are way quicker.
we got
Way
guards.
quicker. Like Gilbert is way Kauscher is one of the best defensive players, one of the most important like players to ever come through Iowa State because of many reasons. Like his defense, but like the one thing he couldn't do is like really create his own shot on offense, and Gilbert does that.
Yeah, he has a little Curtis Stinson in him. I mean, that's kind of the comparison I thought when I was watching him.
Like he has kind of like a Curtis Stinson mentality on offense, and just like I'm good into the hole, and like he's like not afraid of contact, like the and-ones, and just like man.
And Taman is too. I mean, Taman's built like a flipping wrestler. I mean, he can. I think he can jump higher than he did last year. And man, did his shot look better? Man, his shot is night and day from what it was last year. I know it went in. I'm not saying just because it went in it looks better, but the first time he squared up and took a shot while it was in the air, I said, man, that is completely different than last year. So kudos to him. I mean, it takes a lot for a 20-year-old to completely revamp their shot because you have to get so many reps in to change bad habits. And, I'm hoping that it stays true. I mean, he only took 2, made them both. I mean,
like Naz Long was not a shooter at all when he came into Iowa State.
But Naz had the confidence. I mean, Naz always thought he was a shooter, even though he probably wasn't at the beginning.
I'm saying, but like when he came to Iowa State, that was not his normal. Like he wasn't going to be the shooter, but he ended up being that because he worked his ass off and developed a shot. And I think Lipsy kind of having TJ there who went through that whole era, like he has so much information and to give. And
that's what the TJ challenged Trey King, saying, when we were here, before we challenged Melvin Edgem to lead the conference in rebounding, and he's done the same thing with Trey King. I mean, Trey King is a man. He is put together.
He is.
I mean, so yeah. I mean, our bigs played well. I mean, Hassan didn't have a great stat line, but he's so long that he can adjust shots. And Omaha, we didn't even talk about Omaha very much, but he got in foul trouble, and he was just so jacked up to play in Hilton for the first time that I think you're going to see a totally different version of him at when we start playing some of the bigger names. I mean, it's hard to get excited about playing Linwood for crying out loud.
And like especially when he's
Green Bay or whoever,
he's like been athletic wise, he's been playing against people just as athletic as him. Like the last summer, like all USA basketball, like our team is way better. On our practices got to be insane right now. Like JT Rock and Jelani Hamilton are not even on the.
Not even suited.
Yeah, they're going to practice.
And JT Rock's the biggest kid on the team. Not even close.
Yeah,
he's a big dude.
It's very exciting because
he should be a senior in high school.
Yeah, and we signing day was today, and we signed Nogis and Dwayne Pierce. So.
I love the fact we got another New York kid.
Yeah,
I loved watching Tinsley, loved Stinson, loved Blaylock. Been a while since we've had
car.
Yeah, we've been a while since we've had a New York kid because they just bring a different attitude. And
I think the last one was Tavon Sledge.
Yep.
Remember him?
Tavon's 5'10" dunker.
One of the best highlight films to get me excited for
Yeah.
ever. It's like, oh, he's 5'8", but he can slam him. It's like, oh, he's fast. And,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. I was happy to see him, and then we got another shooter that came in too. So
yeah, because Tavon, he transferred to Iona, and then we watched him in the right before the Ohio State game. He played Iona, or he played out against Ohio State when we played Notre Dame.
Yeah,
and man,
I remember Royce White when he came to the camp. He was talking about Tavon Sledge's accent. I'm not going to try to imitate it because I would butcher it. But he was saying they're going through the drive-through at McDonald's and Ames, they couldn't even understand him because he wanted a frappe, and he kept talking like he was from New York, and they couldn't understand him. It's funny.
And I think having Robert Jones and Ward and King, like you said, just having grown men in our program, and obviously the youngest and 10 most talented players on their teams are ones behind them, like obviously Milan starting, but Omaha coming off the bench, like a McDonald's All-American coming off the bench.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was a little bit of a shock to me, to be honest with you. But Milan comes out, holy crap!
Yeah, because
he looks good.
As soon as I walked in, sat down, watched Milan took like 3 shots. I'm like, yep, NBA player. Already warms up like one, like kind of has the same like quiet confidence like Tyrese Halliburton had. And it's just like, how the heck do we get him?
You can just tell though he is really thinking on defense because you can just tell that TJ is really trying to get him to become a better defender because it looks like his head is spinning when he's on defense and shooting. He's a natural shooter, but when he's on defense, you can just tell the gears are grinding a little bit.
Yeah, because damn well in practice he's getting yelled at. Because as a high schooler coming into college, defense of it got to be so different because kids are way faster and you're not the fastest one on the court. You're not the best. Like I don't know. Milan might be the best one on the court every game he plays. Like if he keeps, obviously he's not gonna play every game like that, but 6 or 7 from 3 as a debut as a Cyclone. Like I don't think there's anyone better. No debut better than that.
8 for 9 between him and Taman.
Crazy.
Yeah, we can take that.
And Gilbert didn't even shoot a 3.
No. And he's been one of. I think they say Curtis Jones has been the one that's kind of been a reliable one too.
Yeah, he didn't really.
He went over, but that's not going to happen. And
then
Jackson Pavlinski comes in as a highly touted transfer. He's not even in the rotation.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he comes in at the he's good.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah.
Like I think he hit some.
He dropped some dimes at the end underneath the basket. So. I don't know, man. I think we need to pump the brakes with the hype train a little bit because it was green. Everybody,
they're picked last in conference.
One of the guys is texting your brother saying we're going to win the national championship. Holy crap, we're not even to the first TV timeout yet.
Yeah,
but because it isn't exactly an onslaught the next few weeks. I mean, Linwood tomorrow night, Idaho State, Grambling State, and then we go into the Thanksgiving tournament with VCU and then Boise State or Virginia Tech, and then I don't know who after that. So. I'm looking at December 7th against the Hawkeyes and Hilton.
That'll be
I'm going to make a prediction. Since it's predicted going into November with only 3 losses for football, which I was right. I'm going to predict that the coming out party for Omaha is on December 7th. That's when Omaha is going to show the real Omaha.
Yeah, it could be similar to what Royce did to Iowa. Like the first couple possessions, just dunk on him twice and. I don't know.
That's what I was hoping would happen. That would loosen him up, is he'd get a run out and he'd just tear the rim off.
Yeah.
Which Trey King tried to tear it off a couple times. And I'm telling you, this is just anecdotal. But I remember the year before Royce and Chris Allen and those guys were playing, is that we didn't have hardly any dunks. And then we go into the beginning of the season and we're starting to get a bunch of dunks. And all of a sudden, you could tell we're just a lot better because just purely by our dunk volume. And I think that's a sign that we're much better team too because we're playing above the rim a little bit. Trey King,
and I think the ball is moving so much faster, so much quicker, and so many more people can create their own shot. Because I think Gilbert and Lipsy are gonna be in the next 2 years, kind of like Jamal Tinsley and
Cantrell Horton. Except, remember when Cantrell tried to dunk it against Kansas? He got it hung up on the rim. That was funny.
I'm sure Cantrell was glad Twitter wasn't around back then because that would have been.
Look, you just look at the schedule. This is our January. At Oklahoma, Houston, Oklahoma State, at BYU, at TCU, Kansas State, and Kansas. That is the month of January for basketball.
That's tough.
That can't be any. You couldn't make it any tougher unless you threw Duke in there somewhere. I mean, that is insane.
Yeah, because Houston's legit.
Yeah.
Kansas, like Houston and Kansas are like 1 seeds like the last 3 years.
Kansas State's had some, they've got Arthur Kluma playing for them from Creighton. And he was Arthur Kluma.
Kansas State?
Yeah, he's
dang.
And so
because he was committed to UNLV.
Yeah, for under TJ. And so then I was hoping he'd come along. And then I think he was originally going to Sutton. Man, that's not right.
He was originally committed to TJ. And then obviously the Greg McDermott connection gets him on Creighton. So,
and now he's at Kansas State.
Which Kansas State, yeah, man. Because like Kansas State, they can't, like, we can be good. Like, how many times we're good and Kansas State's good at basketball?
Yeah.
I feel like either one we kind of own each other. And like Kansas is always good, obviously. But I don't know. This team just, it's very exciting.
Yeah, no. But then the Kansas game's on the CBS. That is a national game too.
Yeah, like primetime game.
Yep.
Hopefully, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think Gus Johnson's CBS. I don't know who that would be.
Yeah, boy, then you go down our list of February: at Baylor, at Texas, TCU, at Cincinnati, Texas Tech, at Houston, West Virginia, and Oklahoma. Finish the season at UCF, BYU, at Kansas State, and then the Big 12 tournament starts on a Tuesday this year. So,
dang,
yeah, we got once we get through the month of November, there is not a night off.
Yeah, the only thing I kind of wish our non-conference had a little more competition, just so we're ready for the Big 12. But
I think this is by design, though.
Really?
They know the gauntlet we're going through, so we can't we don't have time to get our things ironed out. We got Linwood, Idaho State, Grambling State, and then some much better teams starting on November 23rd, and then at DePaul, which will be it's in Chicago. I have no idea how good DePaul is. The Hawkeyes. Then we have a few more nursing home teams, like my dad used to say. After that, and then the gauntlet starts right after New Year's Eve. So
yeah,
it'll be fun. I can't wait. This is a fun time of the year, man. We're relevant in football, and basketball is getting exciting. I want us to get to a bowl game. So.
As now a grandfather, it's got to be kind of weird. It doesn't feel very similar for when you were starting a family. Iowa State basketball was kicking up again.
Yeah,
Iowa State football. Isn't that kind
of
very awkward how it kind of mirrors each other?
Yeah, Michael was one when Tim Floyd took over, and when we lived in Kearney, Nebraska, and that's a really good point because then by the time the year you were born was 2 years away from when Tinsley came to town. So
yeah, football like Kearney kind of.
Yep, that's right. Yeah,
the end of the streak.
That's a very good. That's a very good example.
It's weird.
Yeah,
weird how it works like that. It's like Henry someday will be like, "Oh dang, why wasn't I conscious when Omaha Blue and Milan were going off?" Because man, seeing like back-to-back threes, that's something I missed in Hilton. It's like holy crap! It's like because when Milan just went off a tear and it was like timeout before the first media timeout, I'm just like. It's going to be a fun year.
Yeah. Well, I just, like I said, everybody just needs to calm down a little bit and realize, everybody can look good on a team that's overmatched.
But the thing is, but we know that the defense was going to be there.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen any offense. And now that we've seen a glimpse of offense, and obviously Green Bay didn't really have anything to show on offense to test our defense, but we haven't really had both working at the same time. And in Hilton.
Yeah.
And when we get some steals, and we're going to have steals and lobs galore because, Gilbert and Lipsy are going to get steals left and right because Gilbert might be more quick and better hands than Kauscher even had for stealing wise.
Well, our defensive rotation is so good, and it happened again Tuesday night, or was it Tuesday night? Monday night. That teams just threw it directly to us. One of the guys in help position intercepted a pass. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen that much in basketball, and I know it happened at least twice, and that just tells you how fast we're rotating and how much we're in the right position. So
we're killing them, and TJ starts pressing. I'm just like, man, take it easy on him. It's like I'm sure.
Well, they were double teaming their point guard. That was a by design how to take him out of the game thing. Because they took Omaha and put him on the point guard as well. So it's just practice for, when we play the big boys. And
I'm not sure if obviously the Green Bay's coach was his first first game coaching as a head coach, but he wore like a pattern jacket. I'm not sure if he wore that for Bobby Knight.
He could have, yeah, but it was kind of funny how you didn't see it because you were at the game. But at halftime, they interviewed him, and he's smiling, and he said, "Yeah, Hilton Magic's real," and all that. And he looked like he was just having a blast, but while he's getting his butt kicked, and he goes, "Yeah, I really don't care. We're just trying to reach our goals." And he knew he was in for a tornado. So
yeah, it's not Florida A&M coming here and getting their first Power 5 win ever. I'm pretty sure it's still their only Power 5 ever win. It was Florida A&M. The day before 2020 started.
Well, your brother made a good point. He says, how many first games have we watched where we have just absolutely sucked? I'm pretty sure Tinsley went to overtime with Morningside.
Yeah, in the exhibition game. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Like an Iowa fan went out of their way to put that game on YouTube.
And Pfizer, it wasn't the first game, but we went to overtime, or we lost to Drake. It wasn't overtime. So we've had some early games that were just ugly as heck. So that was a refreshing thing. We came out and looked like we should.
Yeah, the only losses Tinsley had in Iowa were at Iowa and at Drake.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he didn't lose in the state of Iowa.
That's crazy. And that was a snoozer. That was like 44-40.
Was that even the Drake game? Did you even listen to that here?
We were in New Mexico then.
So there was no way that was on TV.
No.
You should probably just what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. Green Bay's coach is a great name. Sundance Wicks. That's his name.
Nice.
That's a great he should be I don't know.
It's just I also like hearing Milan's last name. I won't even try it. I'll get more a couple games going.
Momcilovic, I thought is how you pronounce it.
But I'm just hearing the announcers
they pronounce it different each time.
I'm just that's the way people on Twitter how do you even pronounce it? Because I even retweeted the Milan's dad, and he gave
phonetic.
Yeah, a thing for us to go back on to, but. I don't know, but we got to learn fast because we're going to say that last name a lot.
Yeah, we got Pavlinsky and Momcilovic. Yep, so it's a lot harder to say than Bob Jones.
Yeah, Big Rob Energy, in which the PA announcer does not just say Big Rob Energy every single time he says his name, which...
Yeah, I'm glad that's gone.
I think for Robert and the fans, that's good.
We could be on the all-name team this year because we have Jackson Pavlinsky, Milan Momcilovic, JT Rock, Omaha Baloo. I mean, those are some awesome names.
Yeah.
Trey King for a basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're looking at if Omaha somehow comes back next year, JT Rock, Omaha Baloo. I'm not sure. Watching Milan, I think he's gone. I think he's one and done.
Come on, seriously?
Yes, he's that good.
It's one game. No, he's not going anywhere.
I was wrong about Terrence Lewis, but I might be right by this one. But
that's a pull. Terrence Lewis. Haven't thought about him in a long time.
4-star.
Where's he at nowadays?
Mr. Basketball, Wisconsin. One of the worst defenders ever seen.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, or one of the last games, he has a huge last play of his Cyclone career. We were leading. He's celebrating what he just did, and then they went down and scored.
Yep, I remember that.
And then the world shut down.
Yep. All right. So what's going to happen Saturday with the Cougars? What do you think?
It's just I think it all goes on how good Rocco does on the road. It's just
yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really watched many BYU games at night. I know they sell out nearly everything.
They're 500. They're going to sell out that one too.
I don't know. They've got crazy fan base, and it's
they're not drinking at the game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, just pride and glory for. I don't know. I think a lot has to do with how Rocco does, and we need to get the ball Ben Bramer more. I know obviously third down late. We need to throw it to him every time like Kohler, but obviously they're going to catch on to that and probably double team every time. But I don't know. I think get Higgins involved more. I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with Sam. I'll get him the ball. I want Sam with the ball. Yeah. I want him obviously get Eli going.
Yeah, our offensive line. I think it was the best defense we've seen for a while. So, I mean, it's a road game. It's a strange time. Heck, if it was kicking off in Ames, it'd be an 8 o'clock kick.
Yeah, Murphy brought this up on. He's like, what if there's a rain delay? Is the game just canceled?
Well,
who wins?
So Eric Heft and John Walters are flying back to do the noon game for basketball on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So they're probably not going to get back to Des Moines till 7 a.m.
That's crazy. I don't know. How the hell does Eric do it?
Eric
is just a warrior.
Well, he loves Iowa State.
I know.
He's been around Iowa State his entire life. He's an Ohio guy, I believe, too. And yeah, they're going to be pumped up on coffee on,
Isn't it?
on
It's gonna
Saturday.
be. I bet it's
Sunday.
It's gonna be really weird for Eric Heft when Arizona comes in for a conference game, because when Arizona came in for the first time at Hilton,
Oh,
was
yeah.
the first game in Hilton's history, and he played in that game. And so,
Yeah.
oh, now they're in a conference.
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty strange for
That's
him.
a really good trivia question. First team to play in Hilton was Arizona.
Yep. I think that was before Arizona was good at basketball, right?
Yeah, that was way before Lute Olson. I mean, Lute Olson went from taking Iowa to a Final Four to going to Arizona, but that was 10 years after the first game in Hilton. So, yeah, but think about when Hilton was built. Hilton's first game was 72, I think. How state of the art Hilton Coliseum was. I mean, that's built by an engineering school, because that thing could withstand a nuclear blast. That whole thing is cement.
Which I'll hopefully don't have to.
Right. Yeah. Well, you never know nowadays. But,
Yep.
the thing and that's what helps with the noise, is that it's like living in a cement cell. I mean, more than I don't know how else to describe it. And back then it had to be, Hawks were playing in the field house. Drake was playing in, their Cracker Box
Yeah,
gym.
the thing about Iowa State, Iowa, comparing Carver to Jack Trice, obviously Kinnick has a galore of the night game, and I think obviously there might be a little gap between Iowa State and Jack Trice there, just based on reputation. I think we've won how many night games in a row, but I think Iowa State and Hilton versus Carver it's not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. That's something that we got. We just need to hunker down. We can't we need to figure out how do we run Hilton the way you used to in the Fred era. I don't know. We just need a new DJ. We played the fight song 5 times in the first half, which I love the band, but I think we need to change up a little bit. Just get something. I feel we have.
I
good
really
players.
wish they'd bring back 5 for 5. The shooting 5 for 5 at halftime. They used to be hilarious. Nobody'd leave their seat because they'd wait for Ed Gagne, the gymnastics coach, to come out and host. You remember what 5 for 5 is? So they used to pull one person out of the stands. They take a random ticket and they go to their seat and pull them out of the stands. Your aunt was picked. Aunt Carol got to do it. And then you go down and you get 5 spots around the 3-point line. If you make all 5 for 5, you win a car.
Oh, wow. A car.
Yes. Yeah. And I think I only saw it happen once. And I think Barry Stevens tried to do it. He couldn't do it.
Dang. I think we'll obviously do the tractor thing.
We do.
Probably replace the.
Nobody wants. I mean, we're not going to give away a tractor. I mean, we
not
give
tractor.
Wilson
A
Toyota.
lawnmower.
Give Wilson Toyota.
They're not giving away tractors.
Not a $900,000 tractor.
No.
Unless Casey Nielsen wants to pony up one up.
Maybe Iowa, not for Iowa State. But anyways, yeah, just seeing the picture of a Carver where their fans didn't show up. It's just I think that would have been us if they would have if they would not fired.
Can we just stop bringing his name up?
I'm just saying we got to give
you get this in every time we talk basketball. We do it one time.
I'm saying we just got to thank Jamie for having the balls.
Oh,
to fire him.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because I think Iowa fans during their best time they didn't give the Sweet 16, but the fan base was annoyed that now that they're not going to make Sweet 16 ever, but they probably will this year. Watch them do it this year, where it's just a crazy story But
yeah, they got the freshman Sanford kids playing for him. That's about the only person I know playing for him. I mean, do they still have a McCaffrey playing? Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Connor, or not Connor, or Patrick.
Yeah,
Connor's
gone. Isn't
Connor's in the Pacers organization.
Is a janitor
or something. I don't know, janitor. Probably clean windows.
Is he carrying
Tyrese's luggage? Yeah. That's funny. I'm sure he's getting. Yeah, Tyrese is making more money than him, but
I would hope so. Yeah. So can we do a contest?
Sure.
All right. So when Thomas puts this on Twitter, all right, the first person that replies to him with the secret code is going to win a hoodie or a T-shirt. You get to choose. From our Sound the Cyrens merch. We have a sweet black hoodie that a guy DM'd you on this week, and then we also have the Cardinal and Gold T-shirts that Sound the Cyrens logo on it. So, what do you want? I was going to say Cougars suck. How's that sound? I'll do that. Sure. So, the first person to reply to Thomas's tweet that shows this podcast episode and replies Cougars suck, then we'll DM you. We'll get your information, and we'll send you some Sound the Cyrens gear.
Can't say stink. It has to be suck.
Yes, and it has to be spelled correctly. Can't be. Yeah. So.
All right. Sounds good.
Let's see what happens.
All right. Go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones.